I'm waiting to be able to see what I'm doing here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ladies, and if you are gentlemen, welcome to the Bob Doyle Show! Now, some of you are awesome and have already begun commenting, or at least you had a second ago. I need to refresh it because I'm not seeing it now. But maybe because I restarted. We're starting fresh. So say hello. You know, so my feelings don't get hurt. I'm very sensitive. Very sensitive. Oh, today, now I see some of you still over here on Facebook. And why would I be talking to you? Because you wouldn't be able to hear me anyway. Okay, you guys, sit down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bob Doyle Show. I cut off the music abruptly because why not? What do I... Look at that. You did it. Becky Arnold Green did what she was asked to do, and she became more awesome by subscribing. And do you see what happens when you do that? You get rewarded with noises. I hope you heard the noise. The noises, and there's not noises. That's a harsh... And why... I'm still not looking in the right place. How long has it been since I did this that I don't even know what a camera looks like? All right, so I'm sure that was probably Rebecca, right, from over at Facebook, and she did what she said. She subscribed, and did you click the bell? Because that's important. Hey, there, not working. Come on, you guys, shake it up, shake it up. Everybody get back into, we're doing the show now. We're doing the show. Now, folks, this is... I did a show with this exact title some time ago. Deborah Lee, you made it and you commented. Have you subscribed yet, Deborah Lee? Look, now guys, that right there is a moment in broadcast history. Did you see what happened there? I said, did you subscribe yet? And then, boom. It happened. I manifested it. You know why? Because I'm Bob Doyle from The Secret. Now, we don't always talk about that here, but I think in this case, it was important that I did. Don't you? Okay, so sorry, I'm still getting my ducks in a row. So welcome to both of you who have subscribed. That's really awesome. And if I don't stop not looking at you, I'm going to have to give myself deductions. I don't know where the deductions are coming from. But anyway, as I said, or as I started to say, I have done this topic before, and it relates to my wisdom tooth. Now, here, I know you guys are like, what are you doing? Why do I care about your teeth? We do a lot with teeth here on this show. Teeth are an important part of our day and our nights. Because if you didn't have your teeth at night, do you know what would happen? Your teeth are like tongue jail. See, if you didn't have your teeth, and you can ask people who don't have their teeth, they'll verify this. If you don't have your teeth, what happens is this. Your tongue escapes and goes out and does all kinds of whatnot during the night, gets under the bed, and, and then it's sneaky, but then it comes on back later and gets back in your mouth. This is all if you don't have teeth. And then you wake up and there's like all kinds of stuff on your tongue. And you don't know why. Well, that's why. So, if you don't have your teeth, get some today. All right. So, in a previously on the Bob Doyle Show, oh, it would be so great if I had that planned. If I had thought ahead and had the clip of when I was talking about my tooth, and I could have said previously on the Bob Doyle Show and gone right to the clip. Well, one day when I've got my act together, when I'm a real professional, that'll happen. You guys, don't be shy. Say stuff. I know, you're in listen mode. I haven't given you anything to respond to, but I'm going to if you stick around. Will you stick around so that you can respond? How long is this going to take, Bob? Look, I generally go about 30 minutes. I don't go much more than that. And if I run out of words, maybe sometimes I stop. Look, Loretta's here. Ladies and gentlemen, Loretta, a show regular. You know what? I should say a show extraordinary, because really, nobody who watches this show is regular. Can we agree? So if you're watching this and you decide I can't not even for another second watch this guy do whatever the hell it is he's doing, well, I hate to break it to you, but you're regular. Look, it doesn't. There's plenty of regular people in the world. You don't have to get all. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. I'm just saying maybe aim a little higher. Maybe. Again, you don't have to. Now, again, there's people over here on... I need to turn off my Facebook feed because what I'm seeing is a lot of people starting to watch a broadcast that is no longer happening. I don't think. All right, look. A couple of years ago, I broke my tooth and for various reasons ignored it for the past couple of years. But this week, I went and got that wisdom tooth taken out, and we are with it here today. Wisdom tooth, welcome to the Bob Doyle Show. It's great. You know what? Before we do this, I'm going to have to get rid of the comments just for a second because they're blocking my incredible face. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, it's my pleasure, but my mouth ain't moving for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that is.
Maybe you could fix it.
I could try. Let me see. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can fix it. Well, it doesn't seem to be working.
Well, it's pretty boring if it's not working.
I'd have to agree with you on that. Let's see if there's anything I can do here to make it work.
Yep, nope, doesn't seem like it's working.
You don't have to tell me that. I'm very clear. Now, if everybody will just calm down, maybe there's a way I can fix it. Just because this is important that we have this conversation. We talked about it ahead of time. Let's see. Hold on. I think I've got a potential plan, but it's just gonna take a minute. I know it's awkward, but look, you guys, this is truth in broadcast. What the heck is going on now? Now I'm afraid my phone's overheated. What does your phone have to do with me, Bob? Don't worry about it. Maybe we bring him in via phone. Hold on. We're gonna get this going because the Bob Doyle Show does not give up. We don't let technical glitches stop us. If we can't raise a guest on the line, we try again and again and again. And I think it's going to pay off now. Are you there, Mr. Wisdom Tooth?
I was here the whole time. It's just that my mouth wasn't moving.
Okay, but so we fixed it now.
Congratulations.
So, Tooth, you remember when you were in my mouth?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Do you remember when you weren't broken?
I remember when I wasn't broken.
So, sorry, I'm just kind of going down memory lane here. Do you remember when you broke?
How could I forget that day?
Do you remember why you broke?
Well, you were eating some kind of a dip.
Yeah, it was like a crab dip that I had gotten from some restaurant. And it was leftover, I think.
Totally leftover.
And then I was eating it, and I heard this really obnoxious crunching sound.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember going, that doesn't sound right, and putting my tongue up over there.
I remember that too.
Okay. And I go, hey, you know what? I think that some of that tooth is not there anymore, and maybe even going down my throat.
Yes, it was a very unpleasant moment for both of us.
So then I was like, hey, I think I broke my tooth.
Which was obvious at that time.
Okay, but I was just kind of dealing with the fact that, like, what am I going to do now with this broken tooth?
Well, what would have been great is if you hadn't broken it in the first place.
I know, but it was already done at that point, so there really wasn't anything I could do about that. Oh, Tooth, we had some great times together.
Yeah, before you broke me with the dip.
Okay, so anyway, what happened after that?
Well, I felt ignored for quite a while because I just remained broken. And so what I decided to do was to become sort of a cavity. And then I thought what would be really fun to kind of get your attention is to have that cavity move up into a nerve.
I remember that because that's when it really started to hurt. Yeah, because I started getting all these headaches on the right side of my head.
Yep. I was just trying to get your attention and say, hey, maybe you could do something about this.
Yeah, but I really don't like going to the dentist.
It shows.
So why did you break anyway?
Lack of your care, probably lack of attention.
Oh, come on. I brush my teeth.
Did you floss?
Well, I didn't floss that much, honestly.
And then, they got these things called water picks.
Yes, I know. And look, I know that because, I've been using it consistently for quite some time now. Hold on a second. I can't see comments. I'm sure there are people who have had questions. Look, if anyone has questions for my tooth, now would be a great time to ask.
I wasn't told I was going to be taking questions from the audience.
I know, but it's just something I like to do with my guests, to get the audience involved. So okay, so you got a cavity. You became a cavity. You started going up on my nerve, and you started giving me all these headaches.
I was basically screaming, help, help, help me real nice and soon.
Yeah, I thought I actually heard those voices from time to time.
I had to kind of break the tooth code and actually start using the English language because my hope was that you would think you were crazy and seek some kind of attention.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the difference between your voice in my head and the other voices that I hear in my head? I mean, how was I supposed to be able to distinguish that? I got another question for you.
Okay.
So you were broken for quite some time, broken in half. And so, by the way, Loretta says hi.
Hi, Loretta.
You were broken in half, but I'm looking at you now, and you don't really appear to be broken at all.
Well, that's because I'm more or less sort of like a tooth ghost.
A tooth ghost?
Yeah, you know how like when you die and you become a ghost?
Hasn't happened to me yet.
Okay, well, when you do and you become a ghost, there's this whole meeting that takes place.
A meeting? Like a ghost meeting?
Yes, exactly like that, a ghost meeting, and they ask you what form you'd like to take, and most people, they choose to go to the form they had before.
So you just said, rather than being a ghost that looks all broken and scary, you just want to go back to what you looked like before. Is that basically the gist?
That's exactly the gist.
So I'm talking to a ghost of my tooth right now, and you chose your old form.
That's correct.
Now, you were a wisdom tooth.
Yes.
You were a wisdom tooth, so does that mean that you were smarter than the other teeth?
Well, you would think that, but clearly I wasn't smart enough to tell you what to do to take better care of me.
I see. So what about the other wisdom teeth in there? I still have 3 more in there.
Yeah, you do for now, but you keep on doing what you were doing before, you may not, and you may be having a conversation with 2 of us one of these days.
No. Because when I did go to the dentist,
which you finally did.
Yes, when I did go to the dentist, they gave me a pretty good wake-up call.
Yes, as I recall, that visit cost you a couple of crowns and a cavity, and of course a referral to an oral surgeon, which you never took advantage of.
Well, that was because I was moving to Las Vegas. Nobody has a question for you, which is weird because I would think that, like, if I was watching a live broadcast and somebody had the ghost of a tooth on, this is just me, but if somebody had the ghost of a tooth on, I'd probably like come up with a question or two.
Like, what would your questions be?
Well, well, here's what I got for you. It appears to me that you have teeth.
Yes, that's correct. It does appear like that to you.
But how can you're a tooth with teeth?
I'm a ghost of a tooth, and in order for me to have this communication, I get to use my ghostly powers in order to create the appearance of a mouth.
I see. Dennis says, are you wiser after being broken?
I'm a lot wiser because I'm out of that hellhole called your mouth.
Oh, God, tooth. You are something else. Well, so tell me, now you're on the other side of this whole ordeal.
Yeah, and ordeal's a pretty good word for it.
That's what we should do. So tell me. So this happened, 2 days ago, where I finally got into the dentist chair and the extraction was taking place. Was this something you were excited about?
I was freaking petrified.
Why?
because I heard her explain what it was going to be. She said, well, you're going to hear a lot of crunching.
Yeah, I didn't like hearing that at all. Nobody wants to hear about that.
Yeah, especially if you are the one that's being crunched.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, that must have been terrifying for you. Sorry you had to go through all that.
Yeah, that's just one of the many things I had to go through, if you'll recall.
Okay, good enough. Yeah, I remember I was in the chair. I had lots of nitrous oxide because, you know, and I thought it was going to take like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, she said maybe an hour and a half if you were difficult, and you kept going on and on about how difficult you were in a dentist chair.
I know, because I usually am. But, you know, if they have enough nitrous oxide, then, you know, I can deal with it. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, and they give me the nitrous oxide, and she says something like, yeah, you're going to feel me push your shoulder a few times, and there's nothing we can do about that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then the next thing I know is there is that crunching sound.
It was pretty devastating to be the crunching sound, as you might imagine.
I can only imagine, except that I was kind of just pretty much high as a kite at the moment. And then the next thing I knew, right after I heard that crunching sound,
which was me,
right after I heard that, they ripped it felt like they ripped it. They ripped the nitrous thing off my nose, right? And then rammed something in my mouth and said, bite, you know? And so I'm thinking something went terribly wrong.
Yeah, I got crunched and pulled out of there and then thrown in the garbage can.
No, I meant with me. Something happened wrong with me. Like something was wrong with me. And then I like opened my eyes because, of course, I had my eyes closed because who'd want to have their eyes open during that kind of ordeal? So I open my eyes and there's nobody in the room. And I'm like, okay, are they calling an ambulance? What's going on? Something really bad has happened. And then the next thing I know, some ladies coming in there and saying, "Come with me. We need to take an X-ray." And I'm thinking, okay, well, so what did it break wrong? I mean, what's actually happening here? And then, well, you know what? Long story short, it was over.
I really don't care about the story much after that. At this point, I'd been taken out and thrown in a garbage can.
Is that what they do? They just throw you in a garbage can?
Yeah, with a bunch of other bloody, decaying, filling infested teeth.
So how long after they extracted you did you get to be a ghost? Did you go to this whole ghost meeting?
I'm going to say like 20 minutes or so.
Okay. I got a question from Loretta. Tooth, what was it like being in the movie The Secret? Oh, wait, we actually couldn't see you in the movie. Bummer. Yeah, there was one scene. There was a lot of being in The Secret that they, of course, cut out. And there was one part when I went right up to the camera and I went like this. And, you know, to show all of my teeth, because I figure who wouldn't want to see all my teeth? I mean, I figure if they're going to learn about the law of attraction from somebody, they may as well get a good look at their teeth, right? Am I right? So, but they cut that part out. So yeah, you kind of ended up on the editing room floor.
This is the stupidest story I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I think that because you're a tooth, you just have a different idea of what's stupid and what's not.
Now, I think I got a pretty good idea of what's stupid. I am, after all, a wisdom tooth.
Yeah, but see, if you were a stupidity tooth, then I think you'd probably have a better idea of what stupid is. Wouldn't you agree?
Case in point.
Okay. All right, look, we're going to let the tooth go.
Again?
Come on. Yeah, I see what you did there. You're making, are you sure you're not like a humor tooth? We're going to let him go if no one else has any questions, because we've got, you know, I've got other ridiculous things to talk about. And how long have I been talking? 19 minutes and 12 seconds. So the question is, can I draw this out for another 10 minutes?
I'm pretty sure you can. I've seen you do it before, but from the inside of your mouth. Just think how loud this show is for me and the other guys in there when you're talking. You know, it's just like we're right there and your tongue slapping up all against us and stuff like that. And sometimes, you know, you got the coffee that you constantly drink. We're constantly being stained and just washed over with this mega doses of caffeine. And we're just, it's just, you know what? I'm glad to be out of there.
I figured you would be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was my tooth. The ghost of my tooth, anyway. All right, you guys can be seated. So, here's something I've thought about too many times. And maybe you've thought about it too. And I don't mean to be, I don't mean to be insensitive to the, how can I only have 3 viewers according to this? I mean, so again, the internet's clearly broken because I just had a conversation with a ghost tooth. So first of all, there's no way that everybody didn't like stop what they were doing, call the media, right? Call their local news and get people watching. So I figure there's got to be, maybe this is like, you know how sometimes when there's not enough room to put a full number in like a blank, it truncates the numbers. And so this is probably 3 million, 3.7 million. I don't know what the point is, but clearly point something million. Because we just talked to a ghost tooth. I mean, that's a scoop. You just don't get that anywhere else. I'm pretty sure. And if you can send me a link to another interview on the entire internet that has talked to a ghost tooth, well, then I will stand corrected, my friend. But my guess is you're not going to be able to. Okay? So getting back to, I got something else I got to share with you here. If I can get there, which I can. So I get this notification via email that someone has commented on one of the Bob Doyle shows of the past. Because, why wouldn't they? They see stuff like this, they gotta go, I gotta put my feelings into words. They start typing, and they put it up there. So this has gotta be, in my whole career of careering, the most backhanded compliment I've ever received, ever. So here it is. Now I have to do like this. I blurred out the name so as to avoid embarrassment. Hey Bob, I enjoyed this new approach in these videos. Your new show is fun and entertaining. In some way, I feel I'm having a refund for the money I wasted and threw away on your program, Wealth Beyond Reason, about 10 years ago. I don't even know how to respond to that. Thank you. Part of me, the first part of me is delighted. Oh, I'm so glad you in. And then the second part is like, hey man, if you didn't get anything out of that program, it's because you didn't work the program. Don't blame that on me. So, but I can't write that. I can't say, hey man, thanks for the comments, but don't blame me for your lack of commitment. And but then if you'll notice at the end, there's the little smiley emoji. What's he trying to say? Oh, yes, he did, Jennifer. Oh, yes, he did. Hold on. I got to get your comments back. Well, they'll show up here in a second as soon as you start typing. Yeah, not so nice. Not so nice. It really, it's one of those things where it goes, but I don't know how to respond to that. Because it was so nice. Part 1 was so nice. Part 2, not nice. And paints a pretty inaccurate picture of what that program was, too, by the way. I believe it was that program that got me into The Secret in the first place. So, sorry, hairball. I guess my tongue got out last night. So this isn't to be insensitive or disparaging or whatever to, what are you manifesting with that comment on my show? What? Yeah, so anyway, to people who have mental challenges, it's really not. But here's the thing, you see people, and it's almost like this, it's like a societal sort of, we're just get the people on the streets who are clearly living in a different world, right? And they're talking to people we don't see, and they're yelling, or they're just whatever. They're just in a different place. And sometimes we put them away in safe spaces so they don't hurt themselves or others, and they're just clearly in a different world. But to them, their reality may seem completely 100% real, right? We just don't get it. So do you ever wonder if, like, what if you're in a room somewhere right now? You don't even know it because everything just seems normal to you. I used to, when I was in high school, we used to have this, we used to just tickle ourselves by saying, hey, just pick anybody in the room or in the cafeteria or whatever, and just whatever they're doing, whether it's eating or talking or whatever it is they're doing, imagine that they're doing it in a room by themselves with no anything, no people, there's no food, there's no nothing that they're interacting. They're just doing that, and imagine that, and look how crazy they would look. And we would just giggle at looking at that. Now you can do this whenever you're bored throughout the course of your day. Just choose anybody anywhere, on the subway, in the bus, walking along the street, in a coffee shop. Just imagine they're in a white padded room being observed or something, just doing what they're doing in there, and you'll giggle eventually. But it's like, what? I could have lost it when they pulled my tooth. I could have lost it when I was 7. And this whole thing, this whole entire thing called my life is just some massive hallucination. And I wouldn't know. And who knows, they may medicate me on a regular basis. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who's watching me. I mean, and when you think about it, what I'm doing right now isn't much different than that. I am, in reality, I'm just sitting in a room talking to a piece of plastic. That's all I'm doing. The other thing that I wonder sometimes is like, what if like, just at any given moment, and I wake up, or I become aware of the fact that I'm in an arcade of some kind, and my quarter just ran out, and this whole thing has been a game. Right? A VR game of some kind or whatever. Or, you know, I took a bad pill or something at some point in my life. And my entire life from that point, like at age 18 or 22 or some crazy age when I did something crazy, you know, and this whole life is just some extrapolated hallucination from which I will awaken. And then what? Like, what if, like, in any second now I just went, ugh! And I was 21, sitting on the couch with my college roommate or something like that, going, whoa, that was intense, right? So, and then you go about explaining, well, I mean, it was like I got married and I had kids and then I got divorced and there was this internet thing. Internet, what's that? Right? Because that would have been way before the internet. Right? And then I try and explain it. That's crazy. Cell phones. Like, I imagine that it's just a whole hallucination that I then have to, like, explain. And then, of course, just like any other dream, it just fades off. And I barely remember any of it. I had a show, and there were 3.7 million people watching. My tooth fell out. I was talking to it. You know, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense that this is a hallucination. Talking to a ghost tooth? Really? That's some crazy ass drug I took back then, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it a day. Day, you're a day. Hey everybody, you're a day. See? I wouldn't steer you wrong. It's all been a dream. It's all been a dream. But a wonderful, exciting dream with ups and downs. I could write a book about it. But it'd probably be boring, just like when you tell people your dreams. Like, of all the adventures I've had, all the excitement I've had, all of those things. But then when you try and relate it, it's like, boring, move on. And then what was my job at that age? Like, what do I have to go back to? Burger King? A waiter at a restaurant? Oh. Anyway, I hope I don't wake up. That would suck.